A St. Augustine facility that offers shelter and stability to homeless teens celebrates its sixth year and is planning a major fundraiser to advance its work. Here to talk about it is Joy Case, Director of Development of the St. Augustine Society Incorporated. That's the nonprofit organization that operates St. Francis Housing Crisis Center. Good morning, Joy.
Good morning.
We're also joined by Kate Batzel, the group's special events coordinator. Good morning, Kate.
Good morning.
So tell us a little bit about Port in the Storm. This is a facility that caters to um, kids who are unhoused,
That's correct.
teenagers. How did it come to be?
So, St. Francis House has been around for 40 years. That's the adult and family shelter downtown. Port in the Storm Homeless Youth Center serves 18 to 24-year-olds. And then we have our SOS Street Outreach Services. Those are the three programs under St. Augustine Society, Inc. And 6 years ago, well, it actually started earlier than 6 years ago, but our executive director, Judith Dembowski, came from Maine, where the majority of her studies were done on homeless youth. And she moved here 13 or so years ago, took over the programs at St. Augustine Society and said, "Where is the youth program, homeless youth program?" And they said, "Well, we don't have one because we don't have homeless youth." And she said, "Oh, yeah, we do. You just don't know where, don't know that they're here." And so they began working toward raising the funds to open a homeless youth center, opened the doors in 2019, and it has just grown and grown over the last 6 years.
And Kate, it's interesting that there was a time when I guess people could say, "Look, well, maybe there isn't that problem," but I would guess that it's become more visible. The concern and the issue around homeless youth and teens.
Yes, for sure. And as St. Johns County grows, we're seeing more of that expansion and we're seeing a lot more young people that do need our services. It's an expensive county to live in. And, and it's a hospitality industry. So it's hard to find that balance for a lot of young people.
And the age, you say 18 to 24. I'm curious, is the younger cohort of homeless kids addressed by another agency? Is that under somebody else's purview?
Not yet. So in St. Johns County, we are the only homeless youth center. There are a lot of extra things that have to fall into place for minors to help minors, which is in our long-term plan
Okay.
to be able to do that. 18 to 24, HUD designates youth through 24 years old. From 25 up, we have St. Francis House is for the adults and families with minor children. But that 18 to 24 is it's a lost age group. They're considered adults, yet they're not. Their brains are still cooking.
Yeah.
And there's
And 18 is
just
an age, I guess, where a lot of people are, if their parents or their family or their guardians are going to, kind of push them out of the nest, that's often a line of demarcation. You're 18,
Right.
absolutely.
you're an adult.
You're an additional mouth to feed. You're taking up more water and power, and I don't have the funds, and you got to go. They're aging out of foster care, leaving
Talk a little bit
abusive
about
situations.
that. Yeah, because I think people don't realize, that very often kids who are in a foster situation end up homeless.
Yes, absolutely. So when you turn 18, you age out, and then where do you go if if that family is unable to continue helping you, and they don't have to because it's through 18 years of age, um, that you have nowhere to go.
You're on your own.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about Port in the Storm. How many kids are you able, or young people are you able to serve? It's a residential facility, is that right? I mean, can
It
you tell us
is
a little bit
it
about
is
it?
a residential facility. We have 24 beds within the facility. We usually have about 32 youth there per night. We don't turn anyone away. So we will find space for people. And really, the program is about getting them to a place of stability. So working with case managers, building their life skills, helping them to find permanent employment, permanent housing, and move forward. When they're like Joyce said, when they're aging out of foster care, if they don't have that support system, she and I are both parents, so we know if you don't, 18 is you're still a kid,
Yeah.
and so you're still kind of trying to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life. And so our program helps these kids with a lot of them. They go into the military, get their GEDs if they're or finish high school within the school system. Um, and so we kind of help them find that path.
How do we know if, I mean, how much of a predictor for future homelessness or instability is being homeless as a young person? I mean,
That's
is that a
what our goal
determinant?
is to end it as a cycle, end the cycle of homelessness. So our programs are structured around helping them find a natural support group. We bring a lot of services onto our property so they're not distracted if they are sent out to an appointment with a mental health person or substance abuse or things like that. We bring them onto the property so that they are getting those connections. So once they are permanently housed, the return to homelessness is few and far between because they have those resources and they have those connections made. All of our programs are built around helping these people stabilize, like she said, and find permanent, stable housing. So they're all working on personalized plans with a case manager, and they come from every person has a different story.
Well, I'm curious about that. I mean, is
Mhm.
there some commonalities that you see with your clients that they have similar experiences in some ways?
I would say a lot of them come from positions of trauma, places of trauma, and that isn't necessarily just because of home life situations, but I mean, having been in foster care homes, um, having lived on the street. I mean, there's just trauma, associated with all of that, and the unsurety of this is where I'm starting my life. That's hard.
Yeah.
Starting your life at the very bottom of where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And where am I going to even sleep tonight? And how am I going to get a meal? So I think that, you know, trying to build that hope with them, then that path of you can do this, you will be successful. It's really just putting the right things in place.
And so the mission, obviously, I mean, there's a need, and you sounds like you're seeing a full population at the facility. So you're having an upcoming fundraiser. I think this is an annual one that you do. But tell us a little bit about it. I mean, what's the goal? It is kind of a gala event, so it's not just like minimum donation. It's a full on
Yeah.
event. Yeah.
So this is actually our first
Okay.
Keys of Hope gala. We've had other fundraisers in the past. We've had other galas in the past. This is the first one we're doing of its kind. And ultimately, the goal is to raise funds specifically for the Port in the Storm Center to help these young people find that path to stability and really achieve the goals that they're setting for themselves. Um, and one of the reasons that we teamed up with actually Bronx House Pizza was one of our they wanted to be a big hand in this and putting this together. One of their owners is really invested in the cause, and so he had talked to us about doing this big event, and we thought it was a great idea.
And the event itself is Saturday the 28th.
Hmm.
And I know that because you're part of the St. Francis shelter, I think that there's information people can find on the stfrancis.org website about this.
stfrancisshelter.org.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And so you're asking people to participate. Are you also taking donations, or is this primarily just a like attendance event?
We are absolutely taking donations. My 87-year-old mother just made a donation from Pennsylvania this morning. Um, and, we're absolutely taking donations. Our silent auction is also online. So people, if they cannot attend the event itself, they can donate or they can bid on the silent auction items there. We would love to have people, come out if they can. There are still tickets available if they are interested in having a really fun date night and
Mhm.
going out on the town and for all to support a good cause. So,
Excellent. Well, Joy Case, Kate Batzel, thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the
of
work you do.
course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.